What's up everyone, my name is Kiahonfire and welcome back to Ark. It has been a while, but today I wanted to do a quick recap on everything we can expect in Genesis so far that has been released before the 25th and release date. So these are the things you can look forward to in the future, very soon future of Ark. So we'll start off, there is actually a delay that has been set in since last night. It has a 6-hour delay on it, and we can expect it to be at 7 PM EST now, or that is 12 o'clock at night for people in the UK, which is, I have my opinions about it and I think it's terrible, but you know. But of course, you could expect more delays, stuff like that in the future. So keep an eye on the Survive the Ark wiki. I'll leave that in the description down below. That will show you a timer that's going to count down to the release of Ark Genesis, so you can stay on top of things and when to start the big download. The download has been spoiled to be 50 gigabytes, so it is a absolutely massive new part of the game from the Ark Genesis 1. So, Ark Genesis, let's talk about it. I want to recap about what we're going to receive in this actual DLC. Is it a map? Yes. What regions are we going to get? There's been a few that's been spoiled that I can show you, or I can at least talk to you about. And what creatures do we expect at the moment? So far, there is about 7 spoiled new creatures that's coming to Ark Genesis. Several of them we have already seen. Several of them have only been talked about, and they are very interesting. Ark Genesis will also include really unique environmental features, an active volcano hellscape that will rain from the sky, so you can expect like volcanic action on this actual DLC, which I think is really awesome. There is also an expansive water biome with deep underwater trenches and whirlpools, so you can expect that in the water. Dangerous whirlpools and deep trenches. The big mountain peaks will occasionally release avalanches upon the world, which I thought is really scary. So you can expect avalanches, stuff like that, coming to Ark as well. And then, second to last, there is a alien moon with low gravity, a thin atmosphere, oxygen vents, element fog, and solar rays that will kill the survival if they are exposed to it. So it's going to kind of be like aberration with how it sets fire to the surface. So with this moon, I'm guessing you can only come to it at several times of the day, and other times you have to not be there so you don't die. But it's going to be low gravity, so I imagine you're going to be bouncing around and everything. It's going to be really cool that way. And there's also brilliant little flying creatures that are also in this biome. There's also talk of this new biome, the fetid alien bogs. Contains trees and large glowing flowers and some really scary looking creatures by the looks of it. We've already seen the Bloodstalker, which has been spoiled in a teaser trailer, and it looks terrifying, but it looks very useful. I feel very sorry for anybody that comes against one of these in PvP and doesn't have one of them themselves, because it looks very scary. And it provides a lot of maneuverability, which I think is an absolute game changer. Talk about biomes. Genesis is going to mostly be a water-based DLC. There is going to be a lot of water activity in this one. So biome-wise, so far from the teaser images I've seen, you can expect a kind of seaside biome, a snow biome, a volcanic biome, a swampy kind of biome that's more of an alien lifestyle kind of biome, and then you have the alien moon biome area. And that is what we've kind of seen so far and what has been mentioned. Now I'm going to talk about creatures. Creatures are going to be really interesting in this one because they have biome-specific reskins. So if you're in the swamp, you have like a green skin on, let's say, a Spinosaur. It will have a swamp-looking skin. But if this Spinosaur was to spawn in the volcano area, it would have a more red-looking volcanic skin. So wherever the dinosaur spawns, it will have a biome-specific skin on it, which is excellent. I mean, the sea one, you can see a few ones here. We have the Allosaur, that's like a lava Allosaur. We have like a earth-looking Parasaur. We have a snow-looking Sabertooth. We have a swamp-looking Spinosaur. I'm not quite sure what the raptor is. The Tapajara is a air-looking biome skin. And then you have the Parasaur, which I think is probably either swamp as well, or it's Greenland. And then you have that nice mosasaur down there, which is evidently ocean biome by the looks of it. With the normal dinosaurs we already have in the game, you can expect Allosaurus, Bulbdog, Carbonemys, Coelacanth, Ichthyornis, Ichthyosaurus, Iguanodon, Caprisuchus, Manta, Megalodon, Mosasaurus, Paracephalotherium, Parasaur, Pteranodon, Raptor, Rex, Sabertooth, Salmon, Sarco, Sika, Spino, Stegosaurus, Surface Reaper King, Tapajara, and Tussatusis, aka the squid. So those are the ones that we have in the game already, which you can expect in Genesis that is so far spoiled. The ones that are unique to Genesis that is coming, we're going to start with the Astrocetus. The Astrocetus is basically a giant space whale. You can find it in the lunar biome, low gravity. It had its own little segment when it was spoiled in the lunar trailer, and they are absolutely beautiful creatures. I will be getting one myself for sure. Currently it says it's tameable and rideable, which is all I really need to know. But the Astrocetus is considered to be a high tier tame because of its unique ability to warp through hyperspace. It sounds like having this whale is going to add a lot of freedom. It is also the first of its kind, which is a mammal that flies, that is not like a bird with wings, so that's kind of cool in its way. A very unique creature, very cool. Apparently as well, the saddle will provide the rider with 3 gun turrets as well as having a bomber mode that is powered by its natural space energy that it converts into bombs to destroy enemies down below. So, not only is it a crazy animal to drive around, it is also like a surprise raid dinosaur. So you can just pop into the space with its warp ability and scare your opponents and eat them out and bomb them, you know. Crazy stuff like that. Moving on to our next creature is the Ferox. I'm sure most people have seen this one. It's like a little jerboa that you can put on your shoulder, and it's a medium-sized kind of shoulder pet. When you tame these Feroxes, they will search for element and notify the survivor when they have found some. However, if they consume the element, it will transform them into a larger, more aggressive form of itself, which is faster, more agile, and deadlier in nature. So it's basically like a shoulder pet that you can kind of transform. It's a transformer. The Ferox's aggressive form also comes with a dangerous attack such as a pounce that knocks survivors off their mounts, which other Ferox riders are immune to, by the way. And they also have a Mega Slam, which dismounts all enemy survivors in a vicinity. Much like the Dino's sutures, the Ferox will be able to scale cliffs and other vertical surfaces. Make sure you have plenty of element for these guys, because they will get greedier and greedier for the stuff, which will make them turn into a bloodlust state, similar to the Giganotosaurus. This bloodlust state will cause it to attack anything and everything, and once it's passed through that, it will pass out and return to its normal, small, cute, fluffy form. So it's pretty much a jabber with anger issues. But it will be very handy to have one of these, since it can climb everything. It will make it an all-terrain mount. Next creature we're going on to is the Mudder. That's how it's said in the wiki, even though it doesn't look like it. They are not tameable or rideable or breedable. It is a giant aquatic midway boss. When provoked, the Mudder will summon eel minions to attack the aggressor. The Mudder is a giant scale-plated eel with a massive blue-hued mouth and relatively small blue eyes, so it's going to be absolutely terrifying if you anger one of these big guys. And I imagine it is going to be an extremely challenging boss as well, because with all those eels coming out of it, that is going to be mad. Remember, they stun you, so you're going to have to be very careful in the water if you find one of these angry boys. Next, moving on to the Blade Wisp. The only photo I could find of this thing was the actual article of its discovery in the wiki. So that's its transmission of the Blade Wisp that we can see there. So we don't have any actual photos of it currently. It is a very mysterious creature. It is unknown if it's tameable yet or rideable, and there isn't a whole lot of information on it. Next creature we're moving on to is something that probably everybody wants because it's on the teaser trailer, and it is such a great looking creature. is called the giant tortoise, which I don't get why it's a tortoise, because it's in the water and usually, you know, tortoises are land, turtles are water. No, I don't know. Maybe it can walk on land as well. The giant tortoise is a tameable creature with a shell that can be built on, also growing rare resources on its shell. When submerged, an air bubble will be generated around the shell so you can live within it. It's kind of like a little submarine creature. Apparently you can also store tamed creatures on its back, and I imagine this will work under the air bubble as well when you're going in for a deep dive. It will provide oxygen for the survivor and the creatures. And that is pretty much what is known on it so far, but it's going to be a very useful utility since this map is going to mostly be water. A mobile base sounds absolutely ideal. Moving on to our next creature, the Bloodstalker, one of the ones I mostly anticipate for. I cannot wait for this little bugger. He's tameable, he has a rideable, and he has weaponry that you can equip when you're using him, so he's going to be absolutely ideal for taming missions, I can imagine, by the looks of it. This animal allows you to swing from surface to surface, and so in this trailer from tree to tree, and it has a little grappling line of its own, which is quite freaky. So imagine this creature is going to be quite handy because it is very agile and very usable when you have the use of weapons to use when you're riding it. Next creature is the Magmasaur, one I really want because it's fire. This is a big fiery lizard of the volcano area. It is tameable and rideable, and I imagine it's going to be very difficult to tame. The Magmasaur is a fire-based creature that gains strength and charges up attacks through heat. It has an affinity for lava to the point of it even swimming in it, and it dislikes water. The Magmasaur has a heat-resistant saddle that protects the survivors from the heat, fire, and lava. This creature will consume anything that helps it build up some of its attacks, so I imagine you'll have lava rocks or rocks you feed it and it will get stronger. But it can also act as a refining forge to smelt metal and other resources. Just beware if you bring this creature into a cold temperate environment, that is going to make it weaker. Same with water. It is going to become a much slower animal in these environments. So my suggestion to you is, if you're a PvP player, I would probably build your base somewhere cold or watery, so you'll avoid these angry big lava looking siege turrets of a dinosaur. May I add, this also includes rain, so if it rains it's going to be weak. Well, weaker. This thing also has an AoE attack, so it can attack and then affect in an area around it. So it will damage anything in this little area when it does this little stompy fire thing. Next, moving on to the weapons, armors, and tools, we have the fishing net. So this is like a little thing off the fishing rod. You just throw it in the water and it will catch you a nice fish. We also have the Tech Cruiser Launcher, a very insane weapon that is kind of like a rocket launcher. Well, it is a rocket launcher. From what I've seen as well, it has tracking on it and it can be guided towards the target. So it won't exactly be pinpoint tracking, but you can guide it to hit what you want it to hit. So this is going to take a little bit of skill and I imagine be quite expensive as well. Next we have the Tech Shoulder Cannon, a cannon that is literally on your shoulder. You can fly around and shoot enemies. It is powered by element and it can be configured to have different fire patterns such as normal, rapid, or sniper. This is going to be very handy for any soloists out there. Just make sure you don't leave it on your shoulder if you want to tame. Next we have the less talked about mining drill, an upcoming thing to use in Genesis. It is a jack of all trades machine that harvests just about anything from its source. It will be powered by gasoline and sulfur. Next we have the Tech Claws, which is one of the things that is seen very first in the very first trailer they released for Genesis. They're very cool little monster claws that you have. Kind of like a Wolverine, is a holographic melee weapon. Very handy in hand-to-hand combat. Last of the weapons, we have a tech grenade launcher. Does what it says on the tin. Launches grenades. Now we're moving on to structures. We have a metal ocean platform and a wooden ocean platform. It is kind of like a moon pool, where you have a pool in the middle and a platform all around the sides. So it's kind of like a really handy water pen. Something I've been waiting for a very long time. So you don't have to build these horrifically large pillared pens in the water, which are really ugly. You can just have this ocean platform now, which is gonna be great for people that like to use water mounts and stuff like that. And of course for this DLC there's going to be a lot of that. We also have the tech alarm system. Does what it says on the tin. Alerts you if someone walks over a, say, tech pressure plate which is going to be put in. Then that alarm system is going to go off and alert you that somebody is sneaking around your base. There is also a tech jump pad. Again, it's another thing I don't really need to explain. It is a pad that you jump on and it's going to launch you, and I am definitely having a few of these around. Then we have the less talked about tech hover skiff. What I understand of this, from what I'm seeing, there is not a lot of information on it, but it kind of looks like a weird looking hoverboard. So I'm guessing that's what it's going to be. Don't quote me on that, because there is literally pretty much nothing on it. Moving on to cosmetics, we have something that kind of looks like the corrupted skin across the tech armor. It is called the Corrupted Avatar skin. This stuff is a skin, kind of fractured look of the Genesis simulation. You can really look a part of the Genesis experience with these funky looking lighted up armor pieces. Now just some notes on Genesis. Of course, a massive ocean focus on this one, underwater bosses, missions. It will also introduce a in-game currency called hexagons, which is cool. And then you have the Helena accessory, which I imagine is going to be quite handy when it comes to Genesis. Genesis will also have multiple bosses in it. I'm not sure how many we're going to get in part 1, but it is spoiled to have multiple bosses, kind of like Extinction has. It will be very lore-inducing in this one. There's going to be lots and lots of lore moving on from the Titan. We're going to learn more about the story throughout what has happened to the rest of the planet. This Genesis map, bear in mind, it is a simulation. It is connected to a place known as Ark Prime, for all those that like to read the lore. So it is not Ark Prime, it is a simulation. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to share on information and things you can be looking forward to on this upcoming Genesis release. Stay in tune, keep an eye on the wiki, look at the timer. Currently for me it says 6 hours, but I imagine by the time I release this video it's going to be about half that, or something like that. Maybe it's even released, I don't know. But I hope this has given you some good information on what to expect in Genesis. Hopefully this has given you a lot of useful information. Maybe some of it you already knew, so maybe some of you didn't. But these are all the things that have been talked about so far about Genesis. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and like the video. Thank you for watching, I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.